back, everyone. Nick and Lex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. We got a new marathon today by Dave, and this is also a Nordic marathon. But let me look at his email real quick. I just received it, and it says so. Okay, it says if this has a theme, it might be Norway rocks. Through elements. No, it says though elements of rock, jazz, and folk. 3 bands, all from Norway, and so here we go. Look, I'm getting really into this kind of music. I've been listening, to this, especially Calandra, a lot, and so has Alexa, and we're loving it. So there's a new band here that I don't recognize, which is well, I'll get to those. Let's just go over the names. Actually, 2 bands that I don't recognize. So the first one is going to be The Waiting Game by Calandra. Let's see, I have it right here pulled up. This is from the album The Line and from 2021. And if you've seen my other reactions, maybe if you haven't, look at the other watch the other reactions. They're mostly live. This is all going to be audio. So we're going to do The Waiting Game by Calandra, then On the Run by Calandra. Let's see if this is the same album. Yes. Okay, 2021. Then we're going to switch it up. And also, this is by David. It says we have mostly done unplugged Calandra, but now these are some plugged in electric tunes. Now, 3 is called Skinflick Dress Rehearsal by Samuel Jackson 5 or SJ5. Let's see. And it's an instrumental elements of folk, rock, and jazz. And then the name of the band makes you at least want to check them out. Yes, of course. And then the last song is 5 Rooms by Wobbler. Now it says here Wobbler is a Norwegian prog band. Might remind you a little bit of, and I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but let's see if it does remind us all of a certain band that Dave mentioned here. But I wanna see for myself. So I guess it's only 4 songs because the last one is a little on the longer side, which is totally fine. Hey, thank you so much, Dave, for supporting the channel. Everybody else for watching, for being here, supporting the channel with your likes, with your comments, sharing the videos. If you find something that you've never heard and you're like, hey, this sounds good, maybe send it to your brother, to your sister, to your cousin, your parents, your kids. Maybe they'll get a kick out of it. Maybe they'll be like, hey, this is kind of cool, So yeah, this is how the channel, of course, grows, and we really owe it to you guys. Thank you so much. We're about to get to 93,000. I can't believe it, because I remember when we were at 200 subscribers, I was like, I can't believe it. We have 200 subscribers. I can't believe that 200 people, took the time and, and pushed that button to subscribe, and they're interested and to see more. And yes, we started a little bit different. We posted all kinds of videos, like how to connect a certain controller and stuff like that, how to clean out your vacuum cleaner. And then we kind of changed it up, and we've always loved music. We're both musicians, and we both have always, listened to music, but we were in this weird point in our lives where we were just listening to the same. So this was just like almost like a wake up, call, and it's been an amazing ride. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and Dave for sponsoring this awesome video. So here we go with The Waiting Game, and I'm just in love with this new style, and I love that this is music that is being made now, as we speak. And I mean, maybe this is just from three years ago, but I'm happy that there's still people making music, which is great, but also people making music that's ancient, that's really like from a different time before the modern era, and it really sounds like that. So Check out Calandra. Here we go with the waiting game. All right.
There's a fire inside me, waiting for something, burning uncontrollably.
That voice, beautiful.
If I do nothing, I'm waiting for you. You're waiting for me, afraid of what we'll find if we let words run free. You got me stuck in a daze, so wondering what not to say. I am not thinking clearly when you're saying my name. I look you deep in the eye, wonder if I will stay until the heat of the moment takes us away. Cannot hide, you spark my flame, whether you feed it or not. We both play the waiting game, but no one will win in the end. I'm waiting for you. You're waiting for me, afraid of what we'll find if we let words run free. You got me stuck in a daze, so wondering what not to say. I am not thinking clearly when you're saying my name. I look you deep in the eye, wonder if I will stay until the heat of the moment takes us away.
Wow. Insane. Literally makes my skin like it gives me goosebumps, you know. Um and what I find fascinating about this, I mean, first of all, her voice is she sounds like an angel. But beautiful the emotions she can invoke. And I wasn't even paying attention to the lyrics because the music is so powerful and her voice, and it doesn't really matter what she sings, but her instrument, her vocal cords are so mesmerizing that I'm just like, and it what I kind of like, okay, pay attention here. It's only three chords, but what I love about this that they're like adding layers and layers, in layers, and they're changing it up. The rhythm gets more intense. It gets a little bit more dense in the end, and that's the artistry, of like taking three chords and that minimalism. That is so key, and that I've done that myself with like a few programs where you grab three chords, right, and you just add and add and add and add, and you can add so much over three chords, other kind of like chords that go along in that three chords, in that chord progression, or scales, or just like the melody she's singing is obviously in the chord progression. So just the way they compose is so wonderful, and it really, it sounds almost like a soundtrack. I mean, yes, it sounds, of course, but it's not like rock. It's not like rock where it has the intro, and then it has the chorus, and it has the solo. This is all one thing that starts and has the same chord structure and then ends, but the whole, it kind of like just builds and builds and builds, and that's, I think, a wonderful style of music. And I've even done this, like I've recorded stuff like in this kind of like vein, but I was like, wow, I do, if I only had someone who sings like this, and like for example, Alexia is a great singer, but she doesn't have the confidence, I think, to just go with it. She's too self-conscious. Uh, Unfortunately, because I love her singing. When she's in the shower, sometimes I hear her singing. I'm like, man, she has an amazing voice. Like, but then when I'm like, hey, let's sing together, and we've done some clips, maybe once or twice, and you guys know, she has a beautiful voice, but she doesn't have that. That's not what she does, like for example, this here, she is a singer. That's what she does. That's what she lives for. She wakes up in the morning and she's like, I'm gonna record and I'm gonna tour, and this is my life. And Alexia's on a different path, so that's why it's very difficult to pull someone like to the side and say, hey, sing, sing. And she's just very, when she sings, she's always very careful with like to not be out of tune, because I've called her out, like, oh hey, um not in the bad way, but like when we've been, sometimes we have been practicing, and then I say, hey, but here you're kind of like you're out of you're out of the chord, and she's like, why? And that kind of thing, I guess, also is very difficult, and then that's when you kind of step back. So that's just a little bit about me and Alexia, doing music together. But she's done some really cool stuff. She's done some voiceover work, just talking, singing, and stuff. So I don't know. I always talk about it. Maybe one day I'll show it, but it's a very personal thing, and I don't know if I can take that step and just say, hey, listen to this. I don't know if I could take the critic. So, but yeah, one thing I wanted to say, Dave, I did a little solo, very very short. I think I did it. I didn't even tell you about it. After listening to the marathon that I did, the last one, and it's a short, and you can only find this if you go on the channel and look under shorts, and it says, it's not very long and it's not very good either. But it says, it's guitar improv over Heilung, remember, and then I put this is the song, um Traust, and I put thanks Dave, and it's just like a 40-second video, using my yellow Ibanez, a yellow. I had a yellow Ibanez, my green Ibanez. So check it out if you haven't seen it. It's not like amazing. It's just like something that I was playing, and Alexa just walked into the room and hit record. So I was not even prepared. But then I was like, okay, you can upload it. It's not anything particularly good, but go ahead. So if you want to check it out, because it's with that music from Heilung. Okay, so next song is I Can't Wait. This is also from the same album, and this is called On the Run. But yeah, like I said, this is amazing. This is beautiful music. It's just, like I said, very minimalistic, but very, it just like builds and builds and builds. So it's not in the minimalistic doesn't mean that it's like simple. No, on the contrary, it's just a minimalistic approach of composing, minimalism. And I love that. And I do it myself because it's just, you can do a lot and you can do, just like the other day I was listening to Hans Zimmer because I'm obsessed now. I've always been obsessed with his music, even like 10 years ago. I was like, this guy is going to be like the biggest composer in Hollywood. I remember watching movies like Pearl Harbor, and then at the end of the movie, I was like, wow, this soundtrack, even movies like from the 90s, like As Good as It Gets, that was done by him, or True Romance, very simple, almost beach like. And I was like, this guy is going to be like the biggest. Like, I can feel it because he's so different. And now I'm obsessed with Dune, the soundtrack. But listen to the first track on the Dune official soundtrack. It's going to blow you away. And I did a video, and I don't want to release it because I did a couple of mistakes, and but I played along the soundtrack. It's like 8 minutes of music, and it's literally basically just a repetition of the same theme, but with different intensities just kicking in. And that's what I think what he's doing. He's a great composer, and he's a very minimalist composer. He's not like John Williams, where it's like up and down and arpeggios and scales and he doesn't do that. He's very simple. He's very, I think it's very effective. The less you play, but the more you build on top of it. I think that's a very cool way of composing for movies. It's very effective. So check it out. Check out that soundtrack by Hans Zimmer of Dune. And yeah, I guess it's just like a lot of composers are going that route now because it does work. And back in the day, it was more about, I think, I don't know, John Williams, Alan Silvestri, all those guys. They were very classically, they use a lot of classical music in their, in their movies, in their soundtracks. I could just keep on talking about this, but let's go on. Let's get on with the music on the run. Here we go. Let's see how many chords this has.
Fire
Okay, so this is a completely different formula. I love it though. This is more a rock song, you know. It sounds almost grungy. But yeah, here you can, if you, you know, if you check out the chords, the intro, it is actually an intro. It's two chords and then another chord, as kind of like an extension, and then there's a chord that goes, that basically you call the bridge, goes into the chorus, and that's when it sounds dum 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 dum. But there's also three chords, so they're changing it up here. They're using an intro, a bridge, a chorus, and then go back to the song. So this is a completely different style of composition here. Really cool, and it works. I love those electric guitars. I love the intensity. I love her voice again. It works so well. Like now, she could literally like when you say she could read me like from a cookbook, that's the kind of singer. She just like does everything right, you know. Like I just did this amazing marathon on Mon let me just get it right. Mon Laferge, or Mon Laferte. Like check it out, Dave. You're gonna love it because it's this singer from she's Mexican, from Chilean, and she just does it all. And that's what I feel that she could do too. She can do rock, she can do, you know, just like very minimalistic stuff, just like, I don't know, like she's just amazing. But yeah, I love that they totally changed it up and it's on the same album. I was expecting another song in the same style, but hey, you know, that's the beauty of music. You can change it up. But yeah, that's a different, this is a little bit more structured. And I don't think uh, I can say that I like one more than the other. They're both amazing ways of composing, you know. Like just progressive rock, you know, where it's like it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it works, and we all love it, you know. But yeah, let's keep going. So good. Those drums at the end. I'm not a drummer, you know, so but I love bands, you know, uh I love bands that there's some documentaries. One of my favorite documentaries that I've ever seen, music documentaries, was I was very very young, and I saw it's called A Year and a Half, um, of a year and a half in the life of Metallica. And Metallica, you might think, oh God, Metallica, oh, but honestly, you know, it's not about. Metallica has been praised by even classical musicians. They're like, how did they come up with this? Like do they don't even read music, they know nothing about theory, and I guess still to this day they don't. And you don't have to. It's honestly like a misconception that if you don't know about music, you can't write. That's complete garbage. I think a lot of people that don't really know anything about music come up with the best stuff because they don't stick to the rules, you know. And sometimes the rules can really help you out because you know what goes where, and you know you. It's basically you learned the language, but there's people that learn a language just by being in the street and learning it from the street language, without going to school. So and I don't know. It's I guess that's a weird comparison, but it is true. I just love the way they were like, instead of saying, oh, here, we're gonna play over like F sharp minor, in this key, and then we're gonna do that, like Steely Dan, for example. They're very like, you can't be in the band if you don't read music, they told, for example, Mark Knopfler. um they kind of like rejected him in a way that was kind of like, almost like in a snobby kind of way, but well, um now there's other musicians like Metallica who don't know how to read music and stuff, but hey, they come up and they just sing to each other, like play this like ba-dum bam bam ba-dum ba doo doo, like that kind of way, so it does. You can communicate just with that. You don't really. And then I remember, because the drummer was like, I'm gonna do like doodle 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 ba ba, that kind of stuff, instead of, oh, I'm gonna play this and this. And they have their drumming charts. I mean, like Terry Bozzio, who plays with the symphony. But I think there's many musicians that I know that don't know how to read or write music, and they're the best. I could just name drop like 50 people right now, but I'm not gonna. You can look it up. But it's just like, it's very important. There's people that never went to music school, and they're among the best guitar players out there, or pianists, or I mean, but piano, it's a little bit different because it's more easier to read, and you kind of have to. With guitar, it's not so necessary, or the bass, drums, I don't think so. I think it's more like wind instruments, or like violins. I have no idea, I don't really know. But I most players that I've played with that play like the violin or the sax, they all read music because I don't know. I guess that's how they kind of like were brought up. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not really necessary. Like if you're, you know, right now thinking like I would really like to make music, you can do it from home. You just need a guitar, maybe an interface and a computer. That's it. And maybe buy some software and you can make your own album. You don't need to know how to play music or how to write music to make a great song. You can literally just plug in and come up with stuff. Yes, you'll have to put in the hours because you want to sound clean and you want to sound, but you know, I'm just encouraging you, if anyone has that desire, that burning desire, like I've always wanted to record some music, you can. It's easier than ever. You can do it from home and it sounds pretty much, if you mess around with it enough, and you edit and you master, you can really make it sound professional. So just saying, really quickly. Okay, so this one, the Samuel Jackson 5, like Dave said, it just sounds very interesting. I don't know what this music is about. This is called Easily Misunderstood. Okay, makes sense as well, I guess, in the title. 2005. Let's see. Also from Norway. No idea what I'm getting into. Let's see. amazing, amazing. I don't know what I'm listening to, but I love it. I love the I think it's a trio or quartet. I don't know, rock, of course. I love the bass, you know, mixing with the guitar that almost like I don't know. It's a very the music, of course, is kind of like very serious. It has a very serious tone to it. I love the drums. Just like it's almost like they're playing jazz, but it's more like I don't know what I would call it, like post, post rock, or it's a bit proggy. It has that. Let's read about them a little bit, because the name obviously kind of like steers you in the wrong direction because of Jackson 5, but they're called the Samuel Jackson 5. Is an adventurous instrumental post rock okay, quartet. Their sound is influenced by post rock veterans Tortoise, Do Make Do Make Say Think. I don't know what that is. I guess a band. Mogwai, prog icons King Crimson, yes, and draws elements from dark jazz, improv, krautrock, and pastoral folk. Wow, that is insane. Okay, I love it. So I guess I wasn't really off with the post rock. When something sounds like an industrial, kind of dark, I think it's post. It has that little bit of depressive vibe to it, but in a good way. It just sounds like a little bit on the darker, edgier side, and I love that. This is really cool. Also, I have great news. We are going to have a live with Just JP. We really love his reactions. I think he's an amazing guy. He's super fun. He's very interesting to listen to. I don't know. I think people that watch him also watch us. Not that we're great or anything. I don't want to say that, but I guess we have the same style. We listen to the same kind of music. And I've just discovered that he has all these King Crimson reactions. So I think we're good to go with King Crimson. I can't wait. The thing is, we had a little bit of a scare with King Crimson because we did a reaction and then we did a full album, and then the guitar player, I just don't remember his name right now. Don't kill me. He contacted Patreon and said, I want this taken down, and I understand it. I'm not even against it. If he doesn't like it that we react to a full album, I understand. But it was a little bit of a scare, and we're like, well, I think we shouldn't do that on YouTube. I mean, if he gets mad about it on Patreon, maybe let's not do it on YouTube. But I think Just JP has done, like, I don't know, a lot of reactions, and then he saw them live, which is awesome. So I think we're gonna get into King Crimson finally, but I'm gonna wait for Alexia, because I want her on that journey with me. So again, just wanting to interject that. Okay, let's continue with this awesome stuff here. Okay, sudden stop. I guess, sometimes when that happens, it could be a concept album. But I love that. Man, what a great band. Thank you so much. I'm really, really proud to be, I think, I don't know, 25% or something Norwegian or something in my DNA result. Um, have you ever done that? Do you think it's like creepy, that, that you send in, a flask of your, pretty much of your saliva? And, but I think it's fascinating that they can do this. And because they don't know who my father is, and it came back 50% Italian, literally. Um, and I knew this. I was like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Italian, but I wonder my on my mom's side because she was like, yeah, you know, um, I mean, I was born in Germany, but my parents, I don't know. It's such a weird kind of like time. Like she was like, I never really asked my parents where they're from, and I was like, why wouldn't you ask them? I don't know. I wasn't really close to my parents, um, and I'm like, okay, because also my grandfather was in World War II, and when my mom was born, he had returned, and he was just, uh, I don't know, just a quiet man, a very traumatized man, and also very angry. Um, and depressed person. So I think I understand why. Even though in the later years when I met him, when I met my grandfather, I think he was very adorable and very sweet man, but he was just a quiet person and but a very very good person, and he loved my mother. But I think in the youth and his youth and her youth, I think it was a hard time in Germany after World War II, um, to come back from the war. And I don't know, I think it was just maybe there was a disconnect, and she also didn't really have a really good relationship with her siblings. It's just a different time, a dark era, and my grandfather was one of those people that were against the war. But I mean, if you didn't go and fight, you were killed pretty much, so he was in charge of laying the telephone lines. Like basically, he had to go before the soldiers would go where he would go and put on the phone lines and the communication lines, and he also was the last one to leave. So that's how my mom explained it to me. So he wasn't like I would say like a soldier. So but what traumatized him at that when he would have to come leave the battlefield or the whatever they were, when there were like these physical uh confrontations, I mean, or shootouts or whatever, you want to call it. He saw all this death and all of his friends, and it's just like it must have been terrible. And so he would wake up screaming every night. Like that's what my mom would tell me. Like years after the war, he would still wake up screaming. So I can just imagine, like for example, American soldiers as well, who went and fought in World War II. It must have been just, and in whatever theater you were, like if you were in Germany, if you were in France, if you were in Japan, uh, it's just such a dark time, and I hope it never happens again. But um, I guess that's why. Um, yeah, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but it's because of my, my mom and yeah, my heritage. So I've always asked my mom. Like I went into this dark place, but yeah. So Alexia, she did it first because she got it as a gift, and we saw all these results, and we saw, oh wow, you're not even like Mexican, and she had all this. Her mom is like Kleinfelter, so she was obviously like also like 30% German and Spanish and all kinds of interesting stuff. Alexia, she's a weird mix, beautiful. And so then I was like, well, I'm just gonna do it as well. I'm sure it's gonna be like German Italian, very boring. But no, I was super surprised that I had Swedish, Norwegian, Iceland, way more than Germany. I guess I was just born in Germany, but my ancestors were all like, you know, I'm not that tall. I'm 5'11", almost 6. You know, I guess I'm 6 with shoes on. Um, but yeah, I'm not like the typical Viking. I'm not very hairy. You know, I can't really grow a real beard. I guess that's the Italian side. So, but yeah, it's just it's fun. I guess I think it's hilarious to do. It's a lot of fun, and then you can also find a lot of people because then when you pay a little bit more, they look in a little bit deeper. A lot of people find that creepy, but I found out so many cool stuff about my grandfather on my dad's side, my grandfather, my grandmom on my dad's side, which I never knew my grandfather on my dad's side. He passed away when my dad was just 8 years old. But I knew my grandmother from my dad's side, and she was Italian, and she spoke amazing German. I never really knew that she was Italian. But they would always speak in Italian on the phone, so I just thought, well, I guess I don't know. You know, when you're a kid, you take a lot of things for just for as normal. And but yeah, let's keep on. Let's. This is the last one. This is the long one, and I've gone way over time. But hey, you know, I love doing this, and it doesn't matter. You know, if I go a little bit over time. But this is the long one. This is the one that Dave said reminded him a little bit of a band. I don't want to spoil it. Let's see if I can make the connection, and let's see if you can make the connection. At the end of the video, I'll spoil it, but not during, okay? So once we're done with the song, I'll say what Dave was talking about. So here we go. know that if you're a prog head, you know exactly what we're talking about here, what band. I'm not gonna say it yet. Yet, I'm not gonna say it yet. But if I already sent this to Alexia, she's gonna freak out. Because um, if they would have the band that we're talking about, if they would have this vocalist, they would sound pretty much the way they did back in the day. But I don't even want that to happen. You know, I think you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'll just, let's just do it. So yes, it sounds like yes. So I think the vocalist sounds amazingly good, and he sounds like John Anderson. I don't think he's even trying. That's what I love here about this. And the new, I mean, the band that is now Yes, they basically only have Steve Howe left, and the vocalist just doesn't sound like John Anderson. And Yes without Steve, without John is not Yes. I rather see John Anderson, with other musicians. So I think Alexa would agree. And but everybody else on the bass and the keyboards and the guitar and the drums, and they're doing a fantastic job not to imitate. Yes, yes, the vocalist sounds like John Anderson, but I don't think he's doing it on purpose. That's just his voice, and it gives a Yes vibe. The music is similar, but not. I don't know. That I'll leave that to you. Let me think if you think they're trying to sound like Yes. I don't think so. I don't think so. They're just very good musicians. They're playing prog rock in a not as such a modern fashion, like say Dream Theater or something. It's not too insane. It still has that 70s vibe. So let me know what you think. If you do you think they sound like Yes? Let's continue. And now it's cat's out of the bag. Okay, all right. loved it, man. I love the keyboard, for example, that Hammond sound. You know, he always kept it more 70s sounding rather than, you know, adding any synth. You know, I just love that old sound. You know, the distortion there on the guitar, beautiful. The changes, the bass was amazing. The drumming was just insane. I have to listen to it again just to kind of like find my footing in here. But the overall product was amazing. I love the cover. Um, uh, Everything, like all these four songs were just amazing, from start to finish. I made like the longest video. I wanted to keep it down, you know, because people don't click on format that's like an hour long. So I guess i'll uh, I'll end it now. I talked a lot about other stuff, I apologize, but I guess, you know, in the end, a lot of people do find it interesting when I kind of like, you know, uh, get off track a little bit and talk about myself and stuff. But hey, thank you so much, Dave. That was so good, so interesting. And thank you again so much for all the support, all you guys for subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. And yeah, I just thought about, you know, do share the videos if you can with people that you like, you know, on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook if you use that, or Instagram or whatever. You can just send it by text message. You do help us a lot. Thank you so much again for this amazing marathon. I loved it, and I can't wait to hear more. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one.